Hello, kitties. This is yours truly, the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Slasher Radio.
I was born ready, motherfucker.
Hell of a deal. Welcome to Slasher Radio with the host Mikey Bones, Rob Humphrey, and Cass Lovecraft. How you doing, guys? How are you, Cass?
Yeah, what's going on, Cass? How you doing?
I'm just so lovely today. Get to spend this evening with the two most favoritist people in the whole wide world.
Right, and we had some fun.
That I love so much.
We played a good time game. It was a lot of fun.
That I don't want to commit murder or any sort of bad act to. But yeah, hi guys, how are you doing?
Doing great.
All of our patrons who heard our we have a weekly show that you get an extra show every week. We play games and everything else. If any of our patrons that heard that just heard Cass start this episode, it's like you're gonna get treated for like a bipolar disorder or something, dude.
I would say there's the free trial of Patreon. If you haven't used that already, this might be the week.
Yeah.
That was a fun episode.
If you want to see me have the best time with my co-host, please subscribe to our Patreon. It's well worth your time and possibly money if you want to subscribe.
Speaking of that, Rob.
Yeah.
It's like you have a crystal ball up there somewhere over there. We do have somebody who took advantage of the 1 week free trial.
Mm-hmm.
And their name is Kelly.
Hello, deal.
So welcome aboard, Kelly.
Well, welcome aboard, Kelly. Hopefully you'll stick around. Hopefully you'll enjoy it a lot. You're not going to do that thing where you just listen to everything and then ditches.
I'm not going to say this happened 0 times.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is a very special episode. First of all, this is the celebration of the anniversary of this show, which when this episode comes out on October 2nd would have been yesterday, October 1st. So we turned 8 years old, I think.
Wow.
Holy shit.
8 years ago when you started this show, could you have ever dreamed it would have become this?
8 years ago when I started this show, did I think I would be talking to you, the biggest pain in my ass I've ever met, and someone from Canada raging about a horror game show?
Oh my God.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, as we're about to introduce the guest, Greg Nicotero, to this show for the second time. No, I did not think any of this would not be in this position. How far I've come in life, right? Imagine.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're here.
We have Greg Nicotero joining the show shortly. This is his second time being on the show. We talked to him a while ago. It was quite a few years. So he is coming back, kicking off October right, celebrating the anniversary of this show right. The video version of this interview with Greg Nicotero will be up on YouTube and TikTok. So if you want to see the video version of Greg Nicotero during this interview, make sure to check it out on YouTube and TikTok at Slasher Radio. Drop a sub and a like and maybe even a comment while you're there too, by the way. Help channel out a lot. Video version will also be up on Patreon too. So patreon.com/Slasher Radio to starting as low as $3 a month. You get all visuals from the show, including video versions of interviews, things like that. You'll get those early before they go up on YouTube and TikTok. After the Greg Nicotero, like the first time we talked to him on Slasher Radio, dude, that was like, I was glowing after because the conversation was just so great and so fun. If you haven't listened to that, I believe it's on the public feed. A lot of the older stuff is on Patreon, so I don't know. But if you can find that and listen to that, that's a hell of a deal because that was a great conversation. And it's cool that to celebrate an anniversary of the show, to have like at that time and maybe even still to this day, one of my favorite conversations ever.
Nice.
Is pretty cool. But like I said, we're also kicking off October. This is now we're coming hard for you guys. That sounds bad.
Oh, come on now.
I shouldn't have said that.
This is a family show.
Wow.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry about that, eh?
Oh, fuck off.
We got a big old load of stuff to drop on you.
Rob, no, you made it worse.
Stay tuned because it's coming.
Yeah, 8 years ago, I did not think I'd be here today. Anyway, we've been trying to have a lot of cool stuff for you guys for October.
I hope Greg Nicotero doesn't listen to this episode.
Oh, he does. Greg, I apologize for these. Mine was a mistake. They did this on purpose. They're a bunch of perverts. That's what they are, right? But yeah, so we're trying to have a lot of cool shit for you guys, make October special and all that good shit. So obviously this week we're going to be joined by Greg Nicotero shortly. Next week we are going to be joined by the iconic Tyler Mane. That is fucking awesome. Rob Zombie's Halloween, played Michael Myers, bunch of other cool shit, has some new shit right now that he's working on. So we'll get into all that next week, followed by, I'm looking at a calendar again. Why'd it close? After that, we're going to be joined by Damien Maffei. Damien has done a bunch of cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in Haunt. He was the Red Devil. Strangers Pray at Night. He was the Man in the Mask. Texas Chain Saw Massacre. He played Johnny, voiced Johnny.
Mm-hmm. His Wrong Turn.
Yeah.
Like, what? Remake, reboot, whatever they're calling that. I don't remember.
And a really great guy.
We'll be talking to Damien soon. I got a lot of shit to talk to Damien about as of recently. But Damien, honestly, I think other than, like listeners of the show, like actual, industry guests, he has been on the show the most, I believe.
Yeah, certainly in my time on the show.
Every time I mention that to him, he's like, I'm the only one you could trick to come on here again this many times. It's pretty degrading. I'm not gonna lie. Damien's a pain in the ass sometimes, but also an incredible person, incredible actor, and very like our conversations with him are always a blast.
Yeah, we always have fun talking to him.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, this is your first time talking to Damien, right, Cass?
Yeah, on the show, yeah.
On the show, right. Yeah, you guys are talking a little too much. I don't like that shit. After that, we slotted out a week for the patrons, where we're going to get to talk about a movie. The patrons are going to pick our movie for the week. Every month, they get 1 week out of the month where they get to nominate, vote. It's a whole process, and they pick our movie topic for that week of the month. And we figured we'd give this one to them. They can pick a Halloween-themed movie, and we'll talk about it. After that, the week of Halloween, October 30th, we're going to drop this the day before Halloween. So you motherfuckers don't have any excuse that you didn't listen to it. I don't want to hear you at a party, take a kid trick-or-treating. I don't want to hear it. It's the day before. We're trunk-or-treating, too, is the thing now, right? A lot of people do that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but apparently they do that.
Very much against trunk-or-treating. That's bullshit. You go walk miles and miles for Tootsie Rolls like, we did back in the day.
Go knock on a stranger's door.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're doing that.
Yeah, so the week of Halloween on October 30th, we are going to be joined by Tim Willits, the Chief Creative Officer at Saber Interactive, putting out the new Hellraiser game. There's nothing out about this game right now. Like, this is going to be, like, if you care about this game, which looks fucking amazing, it's very anticipated, all that stuff. If you want to know about it, you're going to have to listen to this or wait until, they announce something else and the game comes out. So, good luck.
Yep.
And, yeah. That's going to be October. We do have some stuff with Eduardo Sanchez, too, lined up. That'll be later on. So we're going to be talking Blair Witch eventually. Greg's thrilled to hear that. But, all right, so drink roll call, mailbag, and we'll be joined by Greg Nicotero. What are you guys Well, I'll start off. I am drinking the Sinful Apple out of the... I'm getting my money's worth out of that damn Thriller Pack.
Yeah.
From Angry Orchard. So, yeah, that's what I'm drinking.
I've not been getting my money's worth. I am very, very stupidly drinking a Halloween 2 Michael Myers energy drink.
Oh my God.
That I picked up earlier today.
Robert?
Yeah, I'm drinking an energy drink at 1:30 in the morning like a dumbass.
Why are you doing that?
Because I wanted to try it, and I was like, I'll try it for the show. It's a wild cherry flavored energy drink. I don't know what brand or anything. I think it's just some generic bullshit they made for Halloween. There's also a Chucky one that I haven't tried yet that I have that is citrus flavored. This is very good though, and I'm a big fan of it.
What brand is it?
That's the thing. I don't know. It doesn't say anywhere. It's just like some generic weird shit. I don't know.
Yeah, you had sent us pictures of it. All the images will go up on Patreon, so you guys will be able to see it too. I was looking for a brand because obviously I want to try them. Like, they look really cool.
Here's what I can tell you. The only place that as far as I know, the only place you can find them is World Market. I had to go to World Market.
I don't know what no World Market is.
Yeah, I had to Google it. Turns
out
out there's one 2 minutes from my house, but I had to Google it because I'd never heard of that shit. But it's very good. I'm a big fan of it.
All right. Cass, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the Blood Orange cider from the Jason Universe collab. I had the pumpkin one at HHN. You guys were fully aware of that. Got my hands on the case when I was in the States this morning, and I'm enjoying it. I'm curious to see what the other ones taste in the box, but the blood orange is pretty good. I opened the box.
Yeah, and I had I think I said it on the show. I'm pretty sure I said it on the show, but I tried one of the first time I tried this, I believe was on the show, the Sinful Apple, but I liked it. Like I was a fan of the Sinful Apple out of the Thriller Pack. And then I remember the second time I tried it, I think was like after movie night or during movie night or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, this isn't as good as I remember it. Now I like it again. So I don't know what's going on here.
That's
but yeah, I'm kind of digging this right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't I don't even think I've tried the pumpkin yet. I think I've only had like 3 out. I've not been a huge fan of those.
Dude, that was like my juice at Halloween Horror Nights, man. It was so fucking good. And the tap, I sent you guys a picture of the tap. It was like, I wish I could fucking buy that shit. That was fucking cool.
Yeah, I was telling you, see if I told you to ask the guy if you could buy it from him right off the fucking thing.
I asked the guy and I said, how many people have asked to buy that off of you? And he said, 1 too many. And I said, fair enough.
That's his nice way of saying, motherfucker, I ain't selling you this.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose my job because you want this.
Yeah. No, it's fucking sick though. And by like one of the early nights of the event, I went and got one and the guy's like, oh yeah, we're running out real quick of this shit. So I guess it's a popular one this year.
Yeah, but you like pumpkin stuff.
I do.
So you're biased.
Pumpkin hoa. I love pumpkin, but yeah, it's I'm not a fan of blood orange though. I like orange. I just don't like blood orange. But I actually don't mind this at all. But I love Angry Orchard, so I'm sure I'll like them all.
I hope not, for your taste buds' sake, because some of them are not good. So everyone, but we're both all Angry Orchard up except Rob, and you have a bunch of them just sitting there.
Yeah, well, I'm really wanted to try this Halloween 2 energy drink
at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good though. It really is. It really is good.
Robson will be up for 3 days. All right. Mailbag 917-397-KILL.
You trace the call. It's coming from inside the house.
It's 917-397-5455. You can send in a text message for the show, leave a voicemail for the show. We'll air all the voicemails. We'll play all the voicemails, discuss them, and all of the messages get read by Ghostface. Also, the Patreon and the YouTube are a good place to get onto the show with your messages. Oh, boy. Okay, no, actually, I was prepared this time. What do you guys think of that? Huh?
So proud of you. Good job.
I still haven't heard a voicemail, so I don't believe it.
God damn it. Yeah, I feel like I'm leaving something out, but I don't think that I am.
See, I feel like you're stalling right now because you weren't prepared and you're trying to cover the
and you're
fact.
scrambling. Yeah.
What makes you think every week that I fully admit?
Okay, then stop stalling. Get to it. Come on.
Because I didn't say that the messages get read by Ghostface. That's what I was forgetting.
Messages get read by Ghostface. Let's go.
Fine, fuck you. You know what? Here's the damn voicemails.
Well. Look who dialed in. You've reached Ghostface, and this is the Slasher Radio mailbag, where every message is a potential last words moment. Let's see what messages you've left for me to slice into this week. The first message is from Mecha Spyro. Chris's games list is God tier. Fella knows what's up with video games. I think Alan Wake 2 is better than the original and is one of my favorite games ever. I think that Rob and Chris would really enjoy Visage 2, and would be interested to see if it would sneak on the list. Mikey, I'm sorry, but your list is very basic.
What?
Like plain white bread basic. But I appreciate your honorable mentions. Would be keen to hear Casnada's top 5 quickly too, though.
Casnadia.
Is
that like Cassinate, like Canada and Cass put together?
That's what
I'm
it
sure it is.
Holy God. That is amazing, Spyro.
Yeah. Wow. But let's not gloss over the fact that he called your list basic bitch white girl stuff.
He called it white bread. He didn't call me a white girl, although not far off. I just got called bread on the fucking show. Yeah, I'm not glossing over that. Spyro, God damn it. Look, Spyro, you have to realize too, like, I've watched your stream at Mecha Spyro. Everyone needs to go check that out. Great horror streamer, variety streamer. You are into the single player games. I'm really not. So yeah, you're going to vibe more with their list. But my list was solid, dude. I had fucking Friday the 13th on there, Texas Chainsaw, Resident Evil. But come on, man. My list wasn't bad, dude. The original Resident Evil 2, by the way. If I would have had like Resident Evil 5, like the remake, all right, you got me there. But come on, I had OGs in there too, man.
Basic bitch. Just following Spyro's lead.
Cassanada.
Yeah.
Do you have your list prepared for Spyro?
I do actually.
I'm interested to hear this too.
Okay, so my number 5 is House of Dead 2. You can't tell me that when you went to the movies as a kid and saw the fucking House of Dead arcades sitting there, you did not want to go and play them before you went to go see a film. I did every single time. Fucking love them. They're so just nostalgia for my childhood. I love them. I love that whole franchise. But House of Dead 2 is my favorite out of the bunch.
I believe the correct answer, Rob, is House of Dead 1.
I don't.
Whatever.
I don't know what that game is, but every time you say house, it makes me laugh.
Oh my god!
Who's this? Is?
House of the Dead. Fuck off! I'm so done with you guys tonight.
I didn't do it. Rob did.
Also, I don't know
Whatever.
if I can finish this energy drink. I'm starting to feel dizzy. So if you hear a thud and then I don't say anything, just keep going. I just fell over dead.
Rob just gave himself an energy drink heart attack at 1:44 in the morning for you listeners.
What the fuck is in this thing?
Oh my gosh. You guys. Okay, my number 4 is Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
Nice.
Played this in high school with an ex of mine. He bought it for me for Christmas, said, "Oh, it's going to be too scary. I'll play it for you and you can watch." I was like, "No, fuck you. Give me the game. I'm going to play it myself."
Hell yeah.
That
That
motherfucker
game-
bought himself a game.
Honestly, that's the reason why we're no longer together. But I played it, and yeah, really good jump scares in the game, really fucking eerie vibe, and that game will always be just like cemented in my head for like any sort of horror game.
That means 5 years after that Christmas, Rob, they got into an argument, and she was like, "Remember that time that you bought yourself
Oh, yeah.
a game?"
Yep, I've had that argument
Yeah, honestly.
about something or another.
But a good pick, though. Okay, that game's scary as shit. Yeah, that's fair.
It is fucking scary as shit, and I would love to like replay it now years later and go like, haha, fuck you.
What game was it? I already forgot.
Oh my god.
Amnesia.
Oh, I forgot.
The hell is in
fitting.
that energy drink? Moonshine energy drinks with no brand on them.
This episode's going off kilter really fast. Okay, on to my number 3. I unfortunately put Dead by Daylight. I'm currently not actively playing it as much as I have, but I have way too many hours in that game to not include it in my top 5 for horror games that I have played. Met a lot of really great friends through playing Dead by Daylight, Mikey being one of them, unfortunately.
Lucky you.
Yeah, not everything can be perfect.
Fuck. But yeah, a lot of really great horror characters in there. Again, met a lot of my really good friends through that game and have played it for way too long to not include it in my top 5.
Pop quiz, Cass. Who's the best
What?
DVD player you've ever seen?
Schmuckles.
God
You know,
damn
you
it.
know.
I thought for sure she was going to feed into that
Shout
one.
out
I
to
can't
Shu.
believe she didn't say Rob.
I know. What the hell, Cass?
You know what? You've let me down the last 2 2v8s.
Has Schmuckles ever said cage in a cage? I don't think so.
I think he has to mimic you, to be honest.
I don't think so. He doesn't have that.
Have you ever told Shu that you were healing in the shack and he ran by the shack 5 times and got down by the killer? I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Has he ever done that? Has he? I'm doing every time I play that game. I'm doing shit nobody else has ever done.
That can't be argued.
Honorable mention goes to Rob for great DVD gameplay for entertainment purposes, but actual gameplay in the sense of being good at the game goes to my buddy Shu.
For entertainment purposes is insane to say out loud. Wow. All right. No, that's fair. Like I'm also not thrilled with the state of the game right now in a bunch of different ways. So I haven't been playing it a bunch either, and I've been having a lot of fun playing a bunch of other things. So a little distracted from it. So much like Cass, but no, it was on my list too. It's got to be. Like, how could if you're a horror fan?
It has to be.
Yeah.
When you have over 4,000 hours in that one game, you gotta mention on your top 5, or there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Left 4 Dead 2 with the honorable mention of Left 4 Dead 1. I find they're just kind of like 1 and 2 blend into just one massive game because they literally can be played back to back right away. But yeah, I've always been like a lover for Left 4 Dead. Played it when it first came out. Have always played it actively since, even to this day. It's just a fun game to like fuck around and go kill zombies in.
Fair. I played Left 4 Dead 2 for the first time, like, this month?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but I've heard great things about it. It's an iconic game.
Yeah, and like once you get the hang of it, it's kind of like a brain rot game where you could just like fuck around in it and have fun, and you don't need to like sweat out fucking playing any sort of game and being stressed out if you die, like certain games are. And my number one pick is Friday the 13th. For obvious reasons. Again, met a lot of really close friends through that game. That game has way too many fun memories playing with some of my closest friends to not have it as my number one spot, because it was such a fun game to play in the sense of like a visual aspect, but also a fan of the franchise, but also to be able to play a game with your friends. That's a horror-based game where you can actually just go around and like run your friends over with cars, and it's really fucking funny.
Oh, yeah.
But like, it just bleeds back into me saying that there's been too many memories playing that game to like not have it as my number one. I would probably put Dead by Daylight higher because I've played that more frequently and more recent than F13 with the circumstances of the game. But if I have to decide between the two currently, Friday the 13th will always kind of be number one in my heart. But yeah,
all right.
Those are my top five with the honorable mention of Dead Island. I used to play that game religiously, love that game. Haven't played it in a while, would love to like re-pick it back up, and I have it on fucking Steam, would like to re-download it and give it another run. And Devour is a really good, fun multiplayer horror game, super jump scary and very stressful. One game can last up to like an hour and a half, depending on, whatever map or route you take. But yeah, those would be my two honorable mentions for my list.
Right. Nobody asked for but thanks.
Fuck you. Shut up and go drink your energy drink.
Jesus Christ.
Dead Island's mid, by the way. That's a very unpopular opinion. I understand a lot of people like Dead Island. I did not see it.
What was the name of that house game again, Cass?
Say it for him one more time.
No, I'm good. You can go back and listen to the episode.
Oh, damn.
And then maybe put some R's in the chat or some houses in the chat.
All right. Well, there you go, Spyro. And I'm sure Cass had a lot of single-player titles on there, too. I'm sure her list's going to be better than mine, too.
Well, I mean, that's low bar,
The next message is a text message from Godzilla. Hello, Slasher Radio. I'm actually 30 years old, and I only saw a Trick or Treat movie a few years ago, and was immediately hooked. I appreciate the shout out, and I wish I was on the marketing team, LOL. Jason Video Games started my love for horror, and Jason in Mortal Kombat X.
Following up from our question from last week, he left a message last week,
and
we were curious of his horror fandom and how long it's been going on and all those things. Love hearing from Godzilla. Thank you for popping in again, Godzilla, following up on that. Okay, so kind of, sort of, around me and Cass's age. More so around Cass's age. I'm a little older than her. But that's only saw Trick or Treat a few years ago. Okay, see, now that's what I was getting at last week. Imagine, like, diving into this world of these horror movies and, at a little bit of a later age, I think, because I got into horror when I was, like, fucking, I don't even know, like 10, 9, 10, something like that. So having all that now, imagine just discovering something as great as Trick or Treat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just watched it for movie night. It's all right.
Yeah, Godzilla was there. Everybody listening, you join the Discord. We do movie nights every week. Horror movies, guys.
I mean, we should have been watching K-Pop Demon Hunter.
No, we shouldn't have been.
I got scammed.
Yeah, that should have been the winner. And the reason is because Trick or Treat is an October movie, and we were not watching it in October, so it threw me all off.
Yeah, but we're kicking into gear, man. We're getting it started hot.
Yeah.
Drink your energy drink.
Mind you, Halloween season started in Orlando like mid-August, so
there you go.
Mikey ain't wrong.
Yeah, that's right. They're starting earlier. We are too, goddammit. But all right, Godzilla, that's cool, man. I'm glad you're. Also, by the way, yeah, he's talking about Friday the 13th, the game too. That dude, that was my number one too, alongside Cass. Like that
it was my number
great.
4.
That's embarrassing. That's truly, you should be ashamed of yourself.
No, I mean, I feel like it's a fair place for it.
It's not. Jason being in Mortal Kombat too. Like, I'm not good at the Mortal Kombat games, so I don't play them. And I had a friend that thought it was fun to whoop people's ass who didn't play the Mortal Kombat games, and they like played that shit all the fucking time. Maybe hated it even more. So like, I'm not big on Mortal Kombat, but I grew up playing it on like the Sega Genesis and shit. Like, I played it back then when it was a lot simpler, and I liked it then. And you got to respect it because it's fucking Mortal Kombat, right? And it's cool to see characters like Jason make their way in there. I believe Freddy was in there. Ghostface, I think, got put in there recently, and his shit looks awesome.
Oh,
so
yeah, I didn't even know they still were doing more. Like, I didn't know that still existed. Like,
oh,
that's still
dude.
a thing?
Yeah, and I believe it's more. Yeah, it is Mortal Kombat. A friend of mine showed me because he played a lot. I don't remember exactly what it was because this is like last year or whatever. Ghostface has a thing. You know when you have like that final kill at the end, the finish him moment. Ghostface, it like cuts to and I could be off with this, but there's something like this is in the game where it cuts to like a cut scene, and it's someone sitting on their couch watching a movie, and then Ghostface kills them. It's cool as shit.
Really? All right.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, seeing these iterations of these characters be put in games where they wouldn't traditionally be in is fucking awesome. But all right, last message.
The next message is from Carly on the Horror Feud Patreon episode. I was like 13 or 14 when Glenn died in The Walking Dead, and I cried so hard I threw up.
All right, spoiler alert, I guess, for Walking Dead.
Hey, we got Greg Nicotero on the show, dude. If you haven't seen that far in The Walking Dead yet, I don't know what to tell you. You're in the wrong spot.
I don't know what episode that was, though. Horror Feud. What?
It was last week's Patreon episode, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I definitely don't remember what we did last week on Patreon. That was a whole week ago.
Yeah, or it might have been it was last week, which is now in, like, by the time this episode comes out, like 2 weeks ago that we did.
Yeah.
So, and this episode was, I'm actually scrolling right now. Oh, no, this last week we did Killer Beats. This was the week before that we did it. This message is a little late and I missed it on the previous mailbag, but it works out because Greg Nicotero's on this episode. Sure. The head honcho over there at The Walking Dead, like, that's his shit.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, dude, I know somebody who was so mad that Glenn died. And again, I don't care about spoilers. If you're listening to this episode specifically and you don't know that's on you. But yeah, they did not watch The Walking Dead after that. Like, it's crazy to have something that can affect people that strongly. You know what I mean? Imagine creating those characters and having your fan base be able to connect to them in that sort of way, to where when something like that happens, that they cry and just can't even go on with the show anymore because
you got Carly over there throwing up. That's crazy.
Dude, that's why. Dude, I remember that shit too, man. I could not fucking believe. I was in awe. I didn't cry, Carly, but I mean, I could see it though. You know, like people loved it. I remember, however long ago prior to that in the series, there was a scene with a dumpster and like a horde of zombies where people thought Glenn died. That shit was on the news. People were so mad because they thought he died. He didn't even die. They thought he died. And I remember that shit, man. Because that was the cliffhanger, the whole Negan thing, and when Glenn actually died. And man, that whole off season, waiting for that next season to come up, that was all like me, my friends, and my family we were huge Walking Dead. Grandma Bones, we were huge Walking Dead fans, and we're debating on that. I was like, there's no way after they seen what happened when people thought they killed Glenn that they gonna just kill Glenn, and they had the balls to do it. Yeah, Carly, I did not know that Carly was that big of a Walking Dead. We got some shit to talk about then, Carly. Okay, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the series. Hell of a deal. All right. So like I said, we have Greg Nicotero coming up real quick. I don't know how you do this real quick, but we're going to do it real quick. We're not going to sit and talk about all these movies individually, but I feel like when Greg Nicotero's name gets brought up, obviously he's an icon in this industry on so many levels. Now with filmmaking, he's really, really stepped into a prominent role with that, getting behind the camera in a different way, especially with The Walking Dead. But people don't realize he probably has the most impressive resume in all of horror, even in film. Like, I feel like that gets overlooked a lot, and people just say, oh, Greg Nicotero, Walking Dead, which I was a Walking Dead fanatic, but his work in film does not get the credit that it deserves. So I just wanted to run down and highlight some of the bigger projects that he's been in. Are you guys ready?
Totally.
I was born ready.
All right. Thank you for not calling me a motherfucker. All right, so he worked, and a lot of these are different roles. So it's most of them is what he's known for and does better than 99% of people on this planet, if not 100%, is special effects department. So Annabelle, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Evil Dead 2, Creepshow 2, Phantasm 2, Halloween 5, TCM 3, Bride of Reanimator, Misery, People Under the Stairs, Pulp Fiction, In the Mouth of Madness, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Scream, Wishmaster, Scream 2, Spawn, House on Haunted Hill, From Dusk Till Dawn 2, The Crow Salvation, The Cell, Unbreakable, 13 Ghosts remake, Fear.com, Sin City, The Amityville Horror remake with Ryan Reynolds, Cass, fellow Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
The Hills Have Eyes remake, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, The Hills Have Eyes 2 remake, Grindhouse, The Mist, Hostel 2, Last House on the Left, Final Destination, Jennifer's Body, Splice, The Book of Eli, The Last Exorcism, Predators, Piranha 3D, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, Fright Night, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, The Amityville Horror, The Awakening, Army of Darkness, Dr. Giggles, Jason Goes to Hell, Pumpkinhead 2, Bubba Hotep, Cabin Fever, and Tremors. I mean, that's just highlighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an impressive list.
That's insane.
That's crazy. Dude, he has his hand literally, no pun intended with like the makeup and everything, in every major horror franchise, practically.
The thing that stood out to me while you were reading that list is all the major horror directors that he's worked with.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all of these people who are legendary directors trusted him enough to hire him to do their job. It's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not only that, it's like at a certain point, if we can get Greg Nicotero, like it's more if they can get him to do it.
Right.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, and it's not even like just in the film industry, which is hard enough to do, but we're talking like this is an insane list of movies. Like top shelf. It's wild. But yeah, so without further ado, the great Greg Nicotero. We'll be back.
This and that there. That's better.
Perfect. We talked the last in 2019, so that was a long time ago, and you have a lot of exciting and even iconic, dare I say, stuff coming up. But we wanted to catch up on some of the stuff the really cool stuff that you've done in between the last time we talked.
Sure.
The Walking Dead ended after 11 years, the original series, obviously.
Yes, of course.
By far my favorite show of all time.
Thank you. Wow.
My grandmother and I have bonded over this show. She is a huge fan of yours and the show. I think a lot of people, like you guys broke records, you smashed records, you were, the king of the mountain for so long. What was it like putting an end to that original series that you were such an integral part of?
It was bittersweet. I'll be really honest. When it was great, it was so good. Like you go back and watch the first 6 seasons.
Yes.
You couldn't beat it.
Nope.
The cast was magnificent. The storytelling was great. The zombies were scary. It really it changed the way people watched television in a great way and brought zombies into people's living room every Sunday night.
Right.
So, it was for a long time, we just had the sort of marching orders of like, the show is going to go on forever. We're just going to keep making the show. And the crew and the cast got along so well that you really didn't want it to end. I think when we got closer to the end, the show got, there was so many people, and the graphic novel was so groundbreaking that it started to feel like, man, there's a lot of people, and how are we going to deal with this? And, when Alpha in the comic book decapitates a lot of our heroes, and Ezekiel is on it, and Rosita's, their heads were on the spikes. I remember knowing that that was coming up, and Kari Payton, like, hey man, it's coming. I feel it. It's coming. And I said, look, you never know. The show kind of veers from the subject matter sometimes. But I feel like, when we really kind of stopped losing big characters and everybody was safe, it kind of shifted a little bit. And
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that I wanted to be killing characters off, because I always hated that. But that's what made the show so unexpected.
Yeah.
When Glenn, well, not Glenn, because everybody knew Glenn was coming, but when Herschel went, and when Lori went, and even with Shane, like a lot of those earlier things.
Mhm.
It really kept you on your toes, and you didn't know where the show was going to go, and you just went along for the ride. And I loved that. So I think after a while, there were so many characters and there were so many people that we really, it was hard to service everybody. It's hard to service when you have 21 series regulars. It's hard to service those storylines when you have so many people. And it was challenging, without a doubt.
Yeah. You still have The Walking Dead Dead City, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, season 3 just premiered
Yeah.
the 7th, I believe.
Yeah, we just aired episode 4 last night, I believe.
Right. And obviously we're not going to get too much into something ongoing. Everybody's got to tune in and watch and see what happens. But what was the shift and your approach to now you're telling the same, not the same story, but in the same world? And what was your approach to The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon as opposed to the original series?
Well, look, Daryl Dixon is a very different show because of
Right.
Norman's commitment to really wanting to keep Daryl Dixon's character a nomad. Norman had this idea years and years ago, and it was sort of like a 70s show like Kung Fu or Man Called Bronson, where there's a guy who goes out, comes in contact with a group of people, and then by the end of the episode, those people are changed, our characters changed, and then he moves on. It's even in a funny way, like the Incredible Hulk. Um, that was really what that was about. It's about this guy who comes in contact with these people, and in some weird way, he helps them. And that was always what Norman wanted. I think going to Europe and getting a brand new landscape in France and then subsequently in Spain was really, really critical for keeping the show feeling unique. And I think we succeeded in that. And that was the marching orders. Norman is really committed to this character. And, I was just looking at the reviews of last night's episodes. And, my big job in season 1 and 2 was like keeping the continuity with the original show, making sure that some of the DNA was there,
Right.
but also making sure that the show felt different. And I'm always the one jumping up and down going, guys, zombies, don't forget, they're out there and they got to be scary. Don't take the teeth out of the monster. And
Yep.
I was really excited to see some of the reviews from last night, because we shot a really great sequence where they were using flaming cannonballs of zombies and shooting them over walls. And it was really fun. And it was one of the last things I co-directed on the show, and I was really excited to see people respond very well to it. When it's imaginative and it plays within the story, it's not just zombie stuff for zombie stuff. It works great.
Yeah.
So I love the show, and I think the heart of it, I love our showrunner, David Zabel, really brought a unique voice to it. And, has it veered from the original show? Yeah, of course it has. But it's morphed into its own thing, which I think is probably the hardest thing to do when you're doing a spinoff, is to still feel like it's connected to the original source material, but it morphs into its own thing. Look, kind of like I would say this is a very controversial thing to say, but I loved Alien Earth.
Okay.
Absolutely loved it. And I felt that they did the same thing. There
Yeah.
was DNA from the original Alien in there, and then they crafted this show that you believed existed in the Alien universe, but was very different. And I applauded them for that. And that's what I think Daryl Dixon is doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, that Alien Earth show has really it's controversial.
It
People
is
get mad,
indeed.
people love it,
Mhm.
but that's kind of the beauty of the horror genre. But you mentioned Norman Reedus too, by the way, absolutely phenomenal. The dedication to a character,
Yeah,
probably like we've never seen, you know.
Yeah.
without a doubt.
And I love hearing how you collaborate with him. We do hear stories of actors and they're kind of just, here's the script and do it kind of mentality. And you guys have such a family orientation with The Walking Dead, and you always have. And working with him the way you do, that's how you guys keep creating special moments. And I love it.
Well, look, he's very committed. I mean, I like that he's an executive producer on the show because he'll speak up. If he reads something that doesn't make sense, I'll be like, Daryl would never say this. Why is this happening? Why would we do this? And Daryl is the one character that wasn't in the comic book. Frank
Right.
Darabont created Daryl Dixon. So there's not even a roadmap with which to follow. It's just that's who he is, the way that he interacts with people, and and he's really passionate about it. And I respect the hell out of him for that. He kind of even, he jokingly, said to me, do we need zombies in the show? And I'm like, you realize that's my job, right? And he's like, I know, I'm just fucking with you. But I know that he really loves the character and he loves the interactions with other characters. He just does. I mean, that's the kind of actor he is.
Yeah. I think I told you this last time we talked, but my grandmother always says I'll be in the woods with Daryl. Just he's captivated. So someone like you said wasn't even in the original comics. You guys
Yeah.
created this character and it just took off, and that rarely happens when you're blending it with source material.
With source material. Yeah, look, we were shooting season one. I'll never forget this. Frank Darabont called me one day and he said, "Hey, do me a favor, call John Carpenter. I know you guys worked with Norman Reedus before because we had done Cigarette Burns, the Masters of Horror episode.
Right.
And he said, do me a favor, call John. Ask John what he thought of Norman Reedus. So I said, okay. So I called John. He's like, what? What do you want? Hey, John.
Sounds like John.
It really does. That's my perfect John Carpenter imitation. Kind of love him though. And I asked him, I said, we're thinking about casting Norman Reedus. And he said, one of the most prepared actors that I've ever worked with. Does his homework,
Wow.
comes to set, knows exactly what he's going to do, in a uniquely sensitive way. And that was it. I called Frank back and said, John gives a big thumbs up. And then I'm driving to set one day, and I'm in zombie makeup because I'm playing a zombie in a scene. And the van pulls up, and Norman gets in. And of course, I'm in makeup, like literally getting ready to go to set. And I'm like, hey. And he looks at me, hi. And, oh, you're here. Okay, get out. So he didn't even recognize me, know that it was me. We do the scene. I get killed. He kills me because it's his first kill in the series. And then the next day we get in the van again and I'm normal. And he goes, hey, Greg, where were you yesterday? I'm like, I said, you shot me in the eye. What are you talking about? So, and that was it. And, he's just one of the best. It's really great to be able to work with him.
That's great. Now, I have to say, one of my favorite Easter eggs throughout the Walking Dead series was just seeing you in zombie form somewhere in the background throughout certain episodes. What was one of your favorite Walker designs, or even death scenes for that matter, that you created throughout the Walking Dead series?
Well, I mean, we've done so many. I think the tribute walkers, which is what I called them, I love doing that because I was doing that not only for I'd say 30% for me, 70% for the fans. Um,
Mhm.
it was a lot of fun just to throw them in there. Look, we did a Freddy Krueger, we had all the Dawn of the Dead characters. We had Bub, we had Tarman, we had like, I mean, you name it, they were in there in some
Mhm.
capacity. And it was really always intended to be my way of thanking the fans and the audience for sticking with us for so long. We recently did a Jason Voorhees tribute walker in Spain that I was like, I called Tom Savini and said, hey, just so you know, there might be a Jason Part 4 zombie.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I love that.
Um,
Oh,
and of course I sent the mask over and I'm like, I don't really know how we can justify there being a hockey mask on a zombie. But
Hockey
if,
in Spain.
if my team there could have figured out a way to do it, they would have. But it's just, look, everybody's been borrowing from that idea, and then it's Marvel zombies and then it's, this zombie and that zombie and everybody. And I was like, fuckers. But it was always something that we loved doing as a tribute. I think, walkers from the show, aside from Bicycle Girl, which was our first one, and what I
Yeah.
really loved about that was, when AMC put out the first photo, like the first look of The Walking Dead, it was that photo
Yeah.
of that zombie. And I was really excited about the fact that when we did it, nobody had seen anything like that on TV before, ever. So,
Yeah.
and I think the irony was, 6 years earlier, I was working with George on Land of the Dead, and there was still concerns about the ratings board. So within the time between Land of the Dead and Walking Dead, we were able to do zombie bites, tearing Emma Bell's neck open in season 1 and blowing off zombie heads on TV, which
Right.
which was
Yeah.
kind of insane. So we got a chance to do that on Sunday night on television, and I think it opened the doors for a lot of future TV shows. It allowed Game of Thrones to get a little more graphic and American Horror Story and the
Yeah.
the everything that has happened since then, since 2010. It's 15 years.
Yeah. A lot of people focus on, you guys broke numbers and, all those things, and that's great too. But the doors you opened for
Yeah.
television is not spoken of enough.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true.
No, and the other thing is, perpetuating that art form, the practical makeup effects art form, because
Yep.
I don't think it has ever or may never again be as prominently featured as it was on The Walking Dead.
Hmm.
So that it had the same impact on young people that it had on me when I was 16 years old and Dawn of the Dead came out. And I
Right.
was like, holy shit, I want to do that. How do I do that? Of course, back then it was issue 1 of Fangoria, because I think that issue came out with Dawn of the Dead, and Famous Monsters. So, like from 78 to 82, the only way you could ever get any information was through Fangoria magazine. Now you can search
Hmm.
anything and find it, but the number of young people I've had that would come up to me and say, I love The Walking Dead and I want to do what you do. I want to learn how to do special effects makeup. It's the ultimate compliment. And I was really and continue to be grateful that I've been able to pay it forward. I had my opportunity in, 1984 to get into the business and follow the dream that I didn't even know I had until I started like becoming obsessed with movies. And now, other people can sort of follow in my footsteps.
Yeah, I'm actually a makeup artist myself. I love special effects, and you are one of, the most creative people that I look up to. So I just want to thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
It's actually pretty cool to be able to chat with you today about all this because you've done so many amazing things in your career, and it's cool to be a makeup artist looking up to you and want to be.
Cass is a little jittery today.
You make me cry.
I'm not gonna lie, she has been.
No, it's so sweet. Look, I mean, we all do
I'm
this for
nervous.
this. No, don't be nervous. Look, we all do this for the same reason. We're all inspired.
Yeah.
We're all inspired. And, I'll tell you, I went to, my friend Scott Spiegel passed away a couple of weeks ago, and he wrote Evil Dead 2 and gave K&B their first job. He called me one night and said,
Mhm.
Greg, I'm doing this movie called Intruder, and I need some kids that can like make the makeup effects because we only have $6,000. And I said, shit, man, we'll do it. Like me and Howard and Bob will do it. We're sort of looking for our first big shot.
Mhm.
So I went to his memorial on Saturday, and man, oh man, like you forget how inspirational other artists are sometimes, and people that were in my circle. We watched some of his short films, and Bruce Campbell was there, and Sam Raimi, and Eli Roth, and Quentin Tarantino, and everybody kind of got up and said something. And I left with this profound feeling of like how inspired I was by his sheer love of movies. And and that's what I left with. And I thought, man, when you love something that much, it can't not be infectious. So so Cass, I mean, it means a lot to me that you're moved and you're nervous and because that means that you're equally inspired and equally
Yeah.
you feel it. And I really desperately hope that doesn't go away, because I feel like now there's so many places to find content, and there's so much stuff out there that, I want to make sure that people are still inspired, that people
Mhm.
see a movie that changes their life, like seeing Jaws or seeing Dawn of the Dead, and just like they can't imagine their life prior to seeing that movie or after seeing that movie because it had such a profound impact. The Walking Dead is my way of doing that for people, is
Right.
Mhm.
is is my opportunity to allow them to feel something that they didn't even know they could feel, you know.
Yeah. And you actually mentioned Jaws, and I just wanted to bring this up, but you helped do I actually went to the Academy Museum not that long ago and saw the Bruce animatronic that they have on display there, and I know you were part of the restoration
Is
of
it
that.
broken yet?
It looks amazing.
I'm
He
telling
looks
you,
incredible.
I'm so proud of that exhibit and that piece. I did the restoration of the Big Shark with my team at K&B. And when that came about, I sort of said, look, I don't really even want any money, just cover some costs, but I'll donate a lot of it as a donation to the museum because I want to
Mhm.
restore the shark. So when the exhibit came up, you know, they were pitching us ideas and how we want to do this, and like, oh, we think we might want to do this. And I said, look, if you're going to do anything interactive, we should do like a quarter scale Bruce
Mhm.
and make it 6 feet, and we'll match all the mechanisms from the original. I had original blueprints of the jaw opening and closing, so we built the mechanism the exact same way. So we installed it. I got to walk the exhibit with Steven, which was a dream come true.
Incredible. Yeah.
I was so curious, like how he was going to react to it. Like, was he going to have PTSD? Has he made peace with the movie? Because I was a producer on the Jaws at 50 documentary as well.
Mhm.
And, one of the first things he said to me was, Greg, I'm so grateful for you keeping the Jaws legacy alive after all these years. And he said, oh, you're really good in the documentary too. And thanks for Laurent. And I was like, didn't know what to say. So I have footage and video of him operating the shark. The real challenge is, there's so many people there that get a hold of those controllers and they're just trying to break it because
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
just don't respect stuff.
Yep.
And, like within the first week, I got like 3 phone calls going, hey, so somebody kind of jarred one of the controllers. And so we've been down there multiple times, and they send me videos of guys like,
Oh,
break
jeez.
it.
That's
And
gross.
it breaks my heart a little bit
Yeah.
because I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe I should hook an electric current up to it.
Yeah, shock 'em.
Just have a button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Great idea.
But, the fact that all of those original pieces are there from
Mhm.
some from my collection, many from Steven's collection, a lot of prop people all around. It's without a doubt the most comprehensive collection of memorabilia from the movie. Even Steven was like, dude, who kept the buoy? Like, where did this how did this happen? I know the guy who kept the buoy. I know the guy who collected the pieces off the beach in Martha's Vineyard and put it back together. And but it's I went to Martha's Vineyard on June 20th and got a chance to celebrate the release of the movie with Jeffrey Kramer and Richard Dreyfuss and Jeffrey Voorhees and Joe Alves and people that were part of the movie,
Yeah.
which was amazing. And the documentary, which is on Hulu, which also I love the documentary because it feels intimate. It feels like Steven is literally just
Yeah.
there talking to you. And that was unlike anything I had seen in documentary before. So,
And I also have to add the photo that you have on your Instagram of you laying in the mouth of Bruce,
yes,
where you're like kind of recreating like Spielberg's photo.
yes,
Great photo.
yes,
Absolutely great photo.
I had to.
You had to.
I had to do it. The funny thing about it is the shark that's in the museum, if you really think about it, and this is my special effects background kicking in, was, I have a lot of sketches of the shark and what the sculptors used to sculpt it.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a lot of footage and there wasn't a lot of stuff available aside from like the footage from Ron and Valerie Taylor. So Steven even said, yeah, the jowls, we got rid of the jowls in the later movies. And I said, Steven, I know where the jowls come from. There's footage Ron and Valerie Taylor shot, and there's a shark opening his mouth and the pooch is out in the corner a little bit. So it was accurate for the information that was available at the time. However, you do the sculpture, you mold the sculpture, you run the skins, you build the mechanism, and then you slide the skin over the mechanism. So there's bound to be some distortion. And even with the mechanism of the shark, when the shark's mouth was sculpted 3/4 open, when the mouth closes, the corners of the mouth sort of pooch out a little bit. So when you see the shark in the movie, it doesn't look exactly like the shark in the museum. But the shark in the museum looks like a real shark, looks more like a real shark than the one in the movie sometimes. God forgive me for saying that. But it's true. So for me, the shark in the museum best represents, and in the exhibit, best represents the shark that Steven intended, that Joe Alves intended to make, just standing there talking with Steven at the shark for about 20 minutes. And he started saying to me, it worked great outside of the water, but as soon as you put it in the water, you're towing it behind the boat, the boat would have to be 200 feet away so that you didn't have the wake of the boat in the shot when the shark came through. And I was like, man, so you have 200 feet of cable. How do the guys operating the shark even know what to do? Because there wasn't video playback. And they were 200 feet away on another boat, like on a barge somewhere. And then he would say, because there was a neck mechanism, like if this is the body of the shark, there was a mechanism that the head could go like that, it could go like that, and it could open and close its mouth. But when you're pulling it through the water, there's drag, right? So the head would sort of tilt to the side and it would pull like that. There's one shot in the movie when the camera's up in the crow's nest. You can actually see that in the film. So I knew what he was talking about. And he said, yeah, we had to find an inlet that had cross current so that when we would drag the shark through the cross current doing this, the current would push the head the other direction. And this is in 1974. I'm like, how the fuck do you think of that?
Yeah.
Right.
In 1974. This was
incredible.
Yeah. And to me, the spirit of triumph is all those effects guys that never gave up. I mean, I can't imagine having worked on that movie and knowing that every single day that thing was going to fail. and that there was no way that it was going to work, and then that it eventually worked. I mean, that's the spirit, and that's the triumph. To me, is Roy Arbogast and Richie Helmer and Calicord and Joe Alves and like Bob Short, all those effects guys. And I kind of wanted to do that. I didn't know I wanted to do that, but when I saw Jaws, I wanted to know like how they made the shark. Until I saw Dawn of the Dead, and then it was like, who's Tom Savini? And then, there you go. If Tom Savini had worked on Jaws, it would be perfect.
Probably. Probably. I did have one more thing I wanted to get your thoughts on about The Walking Dead though, Greg.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I love this. Are you kidding me? You guys have had several games and moved on to media, even board games and everything of The Walking Dead, like you guys' own stuff. But now you guys have a chapter in Dead by Daylight, which is like the showcase of horror characters now in gaming.
Yeah.
Were you involved with that collaboration at all? And what do you think about them being part of your characters being part of such an iconic game?
Look, I mean, it's sort of inevitable.
Right.
I
It's
was
been
part
wanted
of,
for a long time.
yeah, I mean, I was part of a lot of the earlier development of other AMC Walking Dead gaming scenarios, designing zombies and things like that. Not that recent one in particular, but like some of the earlier ones. Um, and there was a long time when they were just like, send it to Greg and let him approve it. Okay. And I would look at the zombie stuff and be like, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That doesn't look so good. So I was very involved because I would say for the first 7 or 8 seasons, they were very, very precious about everything about the show. And then I feel like at some point they just kind of went, whatever they want to do is fine. So some of the more recent stuff I wasn't involved with, but I definitely was involved with early stuff.
Okay. Like I said, it was so anticipated, like for years, being players of the game and having friends over at Behavior, all we've heard
Yeah.
is Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking. You guys finally were able to do it, which is great. You made a lot of people happy with that collaboration.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I mean, it's great. Look, and I've done some stuff in the gaming world with, Gun Media and the Leatherface game, and
We'll get to that shortly, yeah.
yeah, I've done a lot of stuff, but it's not as much, I think, as I'd like, but
You brought it up, so you had your design for Leatherface in the Guns Texas Chainsaw game.
yeah,
We have friends over at Gun, love the TCM game too.
yeah, they're great.
Mm-hmm.
That design was wild, and I remember seeing it being announced, and I was like, "Holy shit! What does it go?" Because I mean, you've worked on several Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, just in filming, but now you're able to create.
Yeah.
You have that freedom in a video game to create an alternative look for such a legendary character. What was that process like for that design?
Well, it was a lot of fun because one of the things I liked about the part two mask that Savini did was I liked being able to see aspects of other people's anatomy in the mask. I always thought like there was an ear attached to it, there was a nose on the top, and I always kind of liked that element of like, why would you just use the smooth skin? Why would you not use whatever you have available to you? And like you said, I think I've done 5 chainsaw movies, 4 or 5 chainsaw movies. So we've gone down that road several times with designing things and seeing what looks right. And look, let's face it, the Whisperers on The Walking Dead were basically Leatherface, you know.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to go with something a little more outrageous, and that's how I landed on that with the eye holes and the way that it's all about the shape of the eyes and the shape of the mouth, and the other people that had made masks, Scott Stoddard made a really good mask for the reboot, the Chainsaw reboot, and I loved that the corners of the mouth were sort of pulled back and it had this really creepy, like sardonic grin to it, which I loved. Um, So, it's about sort of capturing the character, but then, adding those little accents to it, which is a lot of fun.
You mentioned that you haven't gotten as much into gaming as you would like with designs and everything. Maybe you could settle, I guess we can call it a rumor with something that was said on the show. We spoke with Vincente De Sante. I'm not sure how familiar you are with his work, Never Hike Alone and all those things.
Yeah.
His version of Ghost Jason, he was in talks with Gunn back when Friday the 13th was booming. And he said that he had heard during his conversations with them that you were slated to create a Jason for Gunn's Friday the 13th game. And maybe even the Jason that we see now was in the works back then. Is there any truth to that at all?
They did come to me about the Jason a long time ago. And I'll be honest, I just didn't have the bandwidth at that time when that game came out. We were like deep in Walking Dead. I was directing
Right.
4 or 5, 4 episodes a season. And I just couldn't do it. Finally, after look, and they pursued me for a long time, and guys, I can't. I just don't have the bandwidth. And then when Chainsaw came up, I'm like, okay, I know I blew you guys off before. Let's take a stab at it. The new Jason universe thing. There's a lot of confusion out there because we didn't design that mask. We manufactured the mask for them. They sort of came to us with a design and said, "This is what we want." And I was like, "Okay." So we made the three-dimensional prop mask for them. And then they did a press release that was like, Greg Nicotero designed the mask. And I was like, I made it. And by the way, I like the mask. I don't know what everybody's so pissed off about. I think it's kind of cool and it doesn't bother me. So I was like, everyone's going to hate something. But I still think it's kind of cool. We did design a really cool Jason that goes underneath it, but no one's seen that yet.
Okay. Yeah, and that was actually the next question I had lined up for you, Greg, and I'm glad you mentioned that because honestly, I haven't seen. You're a pro. I know. I don't see anyone mentioning that. So I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't know that either. So everyone's saying you created the new Jason and you didn't create the mask then, you're saying.
Well, they gave us the design and they said, "Can you manufacture this?" And they had like, "Oh, it's got 13 holes in the shape of the eyes and all that stuff." They had already designed that for their logo, like the Jason Universe logo. They basically came and said, "Can you make a mask?" Originally it was make the Jason and then we'll make a mask for it. And they're like, "Well, can you make us a mask?" And I was like, "Sure." So we have designed a Jason, but nobody's seen it yet. I think it's pretty bad.
So you say yet.
Excited.
Do you have plans or maybe hopes even for this to be released in some capacity in the future?
I would imagine so. I mean, it's the sculpture's done. It's done. It's sitting at the shop. It's finished. It's based solely on stuff that I liked from earlier Jasons. The one thing they kept saying, he's not a zombie, he's not rotted, so it feels like it lives more in the part 2, part 3 world.
Right.
Which I like that as well. I think that's it's a cool vibe.
Mm-hmm.
In handling this, and I know it's weird to maybe ask you, someone with like probably the most impressive resume in the entire horror genre, but did you feel any type of pressure? Maybe that's the wrong word, but I think you know what I mean, because this is an iconic character and he's also making a comeback.
No, because you know what? I've redesigned and worked on. Look, aside, I did all Scream 1, 2, 3,
right,
Friday the 13th, 5, and 8. New Nightmare was part 8, right? I think.
We pre-recorded our intro for this, and we went through your notables,
all
and
of
it
them,
took. It's insane what you've done.
I did two Halloween movies, 2 Nightmare on Elm Street movies, 4 or 5 Leatherface movies, 3 Scream movies. The only one we didn't do was Hellraiser, and I was at a show in Boston Silver Scream Con 2 weeks ago, and Doug Bradley was there, and I kind of made a joke that I was going to run by with a brush and put makeup on
I
his face and be like, "Hey, I just made up Pinhead," so
You
that
did
I
it.
could say that I've done a Hellraiser
would have
movie.
loved to see that.
It would have been funny. He would have been like, "What the? Get out of here." So, and they've all changed. And, the fans, sometimes they love it, sometimes they hate it. You never know. And look, on Walking Dead, do you know how many times we've had fans go, "How could you kill that character? I'm never watching the show again. That's the worst. You can't."
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, you can't make a TV show based on feedback from the internet. You
Right.
just
Hmm.
you can't,
It's true.
because they don't know why it changed. They don't know why that character was killed off. Maybe that character wanted to leave the show. Maybe that character got a part on a huge movie and wanted to leave. Or maybe the character was just didn't like what was being written for them, or the character wanted to go home to their families, or you just don't know. So it's the same with, when you're redesigning a character, you have a director, you have producers, and many times the producers are the people that hold the rights to the character.
Right.
Hmm.
So like here's an interesting example. When Edgar Wright directed Baby Driver, there's a joke in the movie where they say, "Go buy Michael Myers masks because they're going to do a holdup." And they come back and the guys are sitting there wearing, I think two of them are wearing Mike Myers from Austin Powers, and one of
Yeah.
them was wearing a Mike Myers from Halloween. And the joke was Mike Myers. And he's like, "Yeah, Mike Myers." "No, Mike Myers. Yeah, Mike." So it was a really funny gag. And Edgar went to the Akkads, who own the Halloween franchise, and asked for permission. And they said, "Look, we have Greg Nicotero, and he's going to make the mask for us." And we made the mask, sculpted it, molded it, put the hair on it. Looks great. It's in my garage. And then they just said, "Nah, we don't want to do it." They just didn't want to, in their minds, pollute's the wrong word, but cross-pollinate,
Right.
Hmm.
cross-pollinate their Michael Myers with something else, especially in a comedy format. So it could come from anywhere. You never know who's going to react to what and why. They're, "Oh no, the head should be like this, the mask should be like this, and this should be." It really is a lot of times committee by design. There's never a situation where one person goes, the first drawing, "That's it. I love it. Make it. Goodbye." There's a lot of people involved in these kinds of scenarios. And like with the new Jason mask, it was designed by the guys who own the rights, and they had very
Hmm.
specific ideas for what they wanted. And I don't disagree with their ideas. I think that they have some pretty cool ideas in there. I was, quite frankly, kind of surprised that people got so annoyed by some people
Yeah.
got annoyed by it because it's a hockey mask. I mean, the fact that it's a little stylized in terms of the shape of the eyes and things like that doesn't bother me. And I've been designing shit for 40 years. So,
You might know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
by
but
the way, I'm drinking iced tea out of my,
I was
oh,
gonna say I saw it for a glimpse and I was like, is that the orca?
this
That's
is the
awesome.
guy, this is
That's
the
really
guy
awesome.
who recreated the orca for Jaws Fest, or the Jaws thing.
That's awesome.
Lives down in Florida. So I got to sit on the orca and crush a beer can in my hand, which was
Oh, that's awesome.
pretty,
oh man,
it's pretty great.
that's badass.
That's a bucket list thing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's been a year, that's for sure.
While we're on the topic of Friday the 13th, and you saying you want to do more in gaming, at the San Diego Comic-Con, there was a movie confirmed, there was a video game confirmed.
Yeah.
Do you, were you approached to, or do you have any hopes to, or anything like that, to maybe put a Greg Nicotero Jason in that new game?
Yeah, I think that would be fun. Look, I mean, it's all about paying tribute to those characters that
Right.
we love. I mean, that's why they want to do it. And then you put your stamp on it. I mean, it's just the way it goes. I mean, look, dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, from each movie, they're redesigned and look a little bit different. Can't do the same thing over and over again. You just can't. People will be more angry if you just put the same Jason in every fucking movie for eternity. They'd be like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Tom Savini had his twist, which is arguably the most popular Jason now. A modern day fan, they love that Savini Jason.
I do too.
Yeah, it was awesome. You're designed for Leatherface. Like, these are things that are the different forms of media now are taking over. Yeah, and you guys are a part of that, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Something you have coming out soon, Greg, is Guts and Glory, which I cannot wait for this. It's debuting October 14th on Shudder and AMC.
Yeah.
It's described as it immerses contestants in a survival game with a horror twist. There's not a ton out on this yet. Can you tell us what to expect? Because when I hear this, I think like Survivor with, at Camp Crystal
like
Lake.
Survivor. I mean, look, it's I had so much fun doing it. It is a real, true competition show. It's not a scare show. It's not, I love scare tactics, super fun. It's not that. It's not Fear Factor. The challenges are all uniquely strung together in a storyline that we created. And then the storyline is this. These people, real contestants, God love them, flew to Atlanta, and we took them to a remote location in the woods in Alabama. And they compete. But, lo and behold, one of them maybe wanders off into the woods in the middle of the night. And you realize that, maybe the place that they dropped them off in the woods may be a little Sam Raimi inspired. But so there's a little through line story along with the fact that, and then we have real challenges. There's a buried alive challenge, and then there's a possession challenge, and there's a zombie challenge, and there's a morgue challenge, and they're real challenges, and the people are competing against each other, and there's a cash prize at the end. And I had a great time because it was so different than anything that I had ever done. When you work in a movie, it's like, let's try it again, take two. Yeah, let's get more blood, or maybe there's too much blood, or, let's try it again. This, we had to direct it and create it like a live sporting event. It was like directing a football game. You didn't know where they were going to go. You had to hope that the contestants walk through the door and they go that way. But if they didn't go that way and they went this way, you had to be prepared for that. Every gag that you did had to work live. So I had special effects people and stunts people and makeup people and lighting and sound and I'm in a control van with 8 monitors going ready with stunts, ready with sound effects. Cue the lightning,
Wow.
It was kind of insane. And we all started doing it with the idea that we have no fucking idea what we're doing. None of us have ever done it before. And I literally on my first day of shooting was like, guys, I've never done this before. It's an experiment and we're all going to just go with it. And this is the way I imagine it's going to work. And we'll see. And so it's 6 episodes. The 6th last episode is all behind the scenes, shows you how we did everything. And
cool.
I think that's part of the fun is like, holy shit, like they had to anticipate everything that would happen. And I think for me, the fun part was when something happened that I didn't even think of. There's one challenge where 2 of the contestants left a puzzle piece on the ground and ran up to solve a puzzle. And I was like, I didn't think that they would do that. Wow, that's kind of wild. And it's just a lot of fun. And what I had 8 cameras and I instructed the camera operators to get the reactions because when something happens, eventually your brain will tell you that's not real. After a process, it's like when you're on a roller coaster or something happens and you have that, and you scream and you react. It's those first 5 seconds of true reaction that you can't control. that are, to me, the most real. So that's what we did. And I think we maybe went back and did a couple little pickups here and there, just of like, we need a POV of a creature, or we need the POV of something that we couldn't shoot with all the contestants there because we didn't want to break the illusion.
Mhm.
And I think for me, that was the hardest thing. For the first episode and a half, I'm like, they got to believe it. They got to believe it. They got to believe it. The minute that they stop believing us,
Right.
we've lost them. So we got to keep them
Mhm.
long enough until a certain point in episode 2. And then once they get it and they're like, oh, and I'm weirdly enough, I'm the host of the show.
That's awesome.
So I sort of show up in the middle of episode 2 and be like, I don't care. I kind of say, oh, it's not the show you thought you signed up for, but this is the show. And
Mhm.
once I was able to sort of download to the contestants what the show was, then it was like, all right, now I just need to scare them. And now I just need to fuck with them. And it was all about misdirection. They
Mhm.
think one thing's going to happen and something else happens. They think this is real and that's fake and that's real. It's all that kind of stuff. It was really, really fun. It was really fun. When I started cutting it together, it was interesting because all of my editors came from the unscripted competition world. None of them really had cut horror movies before. I'm like, guys, you're cutting a horror movie. I gave them a list of movies to watch. You have to watch this movie, watch Night of the Living Dead, watch this, watch that. And so even they were like, I've never done anything like this. I don't even know. So even the people that were cutting the show together were like, hey, so we need more interview footage here, but what does this mean? And where does this footage go? I said, oh, we'll take that, put that here. So it was really tremendously rewarding to be a part of that show. And I'm dying for people to see it because we were originally supposed to come out in September, and then this other window opened up in October, and I'm like, yes, because I want it to be around Halloween. I think it
Yeah.
would have been done already. I mean, if we had come out September 9th, I think the show would probably be like a week from being finished, and we haven't even hit Halloween season. So premiering on October 14th on AMC Plus and Shudder, nudge nudge, is the perfect window for me.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I got a theme song. Slash wrote the theme song for me,
Oh man.
Oh,
which is
awesome.
which is super wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because he's like, how come you never asked me to write any music for you? And I was like, because you're probably big. I said, hey, do you want to do this? And he went, yeah, great. So yeah.
That's awesome.
The funniest part of that is if you asked him and he said, well, I am very busy right now.
Yeah, he is very busy. But look, I get that all the time. People go, oh, I didn't want to bother you. And I'm like, bother me. It's okay. Just I'd rather you bother me than not ask. Because
Right.
if you ask, the
Yeah.
worst thing is I can say, I'm too busy. But
Right. Absolutely.
yeah.
And you stole one of my questions because obviously we don't want to dig too deep into this, but I was going to ask you about the challenges, a morgue challenge, Buried Alive. This sounds entirely on brand and I love it so much. I mean, you kind of went into it a lot already, but the challenges of, because you're used to scripted television, you reshoots and
Yeah.
things like that. You don't have this opportunity now and you're practically, filming a football game, at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
Like what was the challenges in the differences there?
Well, I think that, look, we're talking about a season 2. There are things that I would do differently. One thing that you do in unscripted shows is they have the diary cam. Diary cam is, in the middle of what's going on, you take the contestant away and you shoot. How do you feel about today? How did you feel you did in the challenge? When we were shooting, our day 1, we had 10 contestants. And if we had to lose each contestant for 20 minutes, that's half of our day is already gone. So I
Mhm.
was like, well, shit, how the hell are we going to get this footage that we need? One idea we had was we sent all the contestants these Osmo cameras and highly recommended to them that they film everything. So a lot of the footage that we use in the show has a Blair Witch Project feel to it. They're coming out of the bus and they're walking through the woods and they're filming stuff and they would turn their cameras on. So there's a lot of first person vibe to it, which I really loved. Even like when they're getting up in the morning and they're leaving their house and going to the airport and filming themselves going through the airplane and on the plane and all that stuff. Because it gives you production value. It makes it feel like a much bigger show.
Absolutely.
And it gives you a sense of who these are. I kept saying, guys, I can sell a horror show. Who we need to sell this to is the competition reality show people.
Right.
Because they've never seen anything like this. We can get the horror people because obviously it's going to be on Shudder. They're going to watch it. But I want the competition show people, the people that watch Survivor and Big Brother and The Amazing Race and The Traitors. I want them to watch this show.
Yeah. And I'm a Big Brother nerd. So I'm already looking forward to.
So am I. But are you watching Amazing Race? Now it's all Big Brother people. Did you see that?
I mean, it's been that way for a couple of years and it's weird.
I was confused.
The Big Brother nerd in me is looking forward to the diary room. And that may sound dumb, but I know it has to look really cool.
Well, but again, Big Brother, it's different because they're in one location. We're out in the fucking woods and we're I can't tell you where we are, but we're in a lot of places. And a lot of times if you watch other shows, like when you watch any of the Gordon Ramsay shows, all those diary cam shots are all shot in front of green screen, and then they just put the background in. But for me, it was like, you got to create the mood and you got to like, you get B-roll of like, fog going over a lake at night and like, stuff like that. So, and we were just kind of, some of it, there was a little free form stuff for me because I feel like I liked the organic nature of it. And, when you do a movie, everything's pre-planned and there's a script. And, I said to some of the contestants afterwards, I'm like, man, there was something really liberating about not having a script.
Yeah.
About improvising things and like seeing where it goes and where it takes you. I kind of like that. I have this crazy idea in my head of like getting like 6 or 7 improv actors and taking them out to a cabin in the woods for a week and like, showcasing some kind of cool horror ideas that we just improvise. And you just go, okay, the story is 5 people show up at a woods for a reunion and one of them disappears, go. And it just becomes organic because it's real people reacting the way that either they or they think their character would. So, I talked about that with the contestants a lot once the show was over because they kept saying, I don't know what the fuck's going on. What am I doing? They didn't know. It was fun. A lot of fun. And I'll tell you, the worst thing in the world is looking somebody in the eye and saying, sorry to say you've been eliminated. That's really hard because they're so into it and they're so committed and you can see how excited they are and the competition, that competitive spirit comes out and they're like, I'm going to win. And that guy's not going to win, or that girl's too competitive, or I don't like him, or I don't like her. And it's wild. I just can't wait. I'm dying for people to see it. It's driving me crazy.
Now, I'm not sure if you can share this at all, but is there any guest appearances that are going to be on this show that we could expect or?
No, not in season 1 because, we didn't, I had a lot of ideas. I know Norman came to visit the set when we were shooting, and I think it was featured in a Ride episode that aired already. Excuse me. But my goal for season 1 really was to try to do as much as we could to keep the contestants feeling like anything can happen at any moment. I didn't want it to feel like, Face Off or something where, or, Top Chef, where like a celebrity person comes in and like, hey, we didn't do that. Now, I'm not saying we wouldn't do that in season 2. I have an idea for season 2 already that, because when we did season 1, they're like, we're not sure how many episodes we want to do yet. So I collaborated with a couple of friends of mine and we came up with like 12 challenges and we only did 6. So I was like, hey, we have 6 other challenges here. And I have a bunch of ideas, and I think even now, knowing what I learned from season one, what we would slash could do. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I was super excited about this to begin with, and you mentioned this
good.
Blair Witch
Thank you.
feel. I'm a huge Blair Witch nerd. We're going to be talking to Eduardo Sanchez soon. Like this is,
Love them.
I don't want to wait now. Like I had to come to terms with waiting already, and now it's worse.
Well, I think AMC's sending the screeners out next week. So if you're on their
Yeah, I
if you're
think
on
we
their
are.
list, I'll just tell them to send you the screeners.
Oh yeah, I'll bother them for sure for this. But you
Yeah, do
mentioned,
it.
Greg, that you obviously season 2 you're talking about already. You sound super excited about it. I'm super
I
excited
am.
to see it. Is this something that in if you had your perfect world with it, would you like to continue this for years to come? Because it sounds like a blast to watch.
Yeah, it is. Look, I think the nice thing about it is it's it will always evolve based on the contestants and who they
Right.
are. Um, and how a lot of, when we started with our casting company, I specifically put a few questions in the interview process because I said, look, I mean, they had kind of their standard casting questions. And I said, maybe we need a what's your favorite horror movie question or what scared you kind of question. And there were two or three people that had said the same thing. And I'm like, okay, now I have to come up with a challenge
Right.
because three of our 10 contestants all said the same thing scared them.
Right.
And I went, okay, now I got to figure out a challenge that will play into that.
You have to adapt to them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it was fun. And it was really fun.
Oh man, I can't. You made me. You have no idea how much more excited I am for this now. This is not fair.
Good.
But one more thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, Greg, and it possibly the most important, Twilight of the Dead.
Yes.
This is something that obviously is not out yet, not even a date announced for yet. But I wanted to get your thoughts on it because it's being called a full circle moment of your career. And anyone who has followed your work
Yeah.
can truly understand that.
Yeah.
This is, from what I'm seeing online, is the final installment of your friend and mentor Greg George A. Romero's Living Dead series. What is it like working on this? Because it's got to be so close to your heart.
It is. I mean, look, the interesting thing about George's universe is the zombies evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. Of course, when we get into the Day of the Dead, and there's Bub, and then Land of the Dead, where we had our eight, Tambourine Man and Big Daddy and the teenage couple and the number 9 baseball player.
Mhm.
None of those 8 zombies ever devoured anyone. And I think Land of the Dead ended with the characters going, well, they're leaving the city and the zombies are taking over. So George always had this idea to evolve the walkers through the course of the show. And this continues that intention, which I think is really interesting and unlike any other zombie stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
And it's very different. And I've had a bunch of meetings with the director and we did some designs and we're sort of waiting for them to sort of secure the rest of their financing.
Nice. Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
much looking forward to this, and I'm glad you got to do it. Because like I said, I know this has got to be important to you. And who better? You talk about the evolution of zombies. I was just having this conversation recently. In my opinion, The Walking Dead had the best zombies. Period. End of story. Like they were perfect, and you can range from
Thanks.
George A. Romero zombies to World War Z and everything in between. And I feel like you hit that perfect note. And like I said, who better to do this than you for multiple reasons?
Well, I appreciate that sentiment. That's very nice. Yeah, it's look, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next steps. I'm meeting the producers in New York when I go next week to sort of just, get a sense as to what the plan is moving forward. But it's an honor. Look, I mean, George was my mentor. Um, I mean, I met Tom Savini through George. So George was the first person that I met and he used to joke like, man, you could have been such a successful doctor and I fucked it all up. He kind of would joke and say, man, I really feel bad that I derailed your career as a doctor. I'm like, I'm doing fine, George. I'm all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Don't worry about it. Please don't fret. But he would always say that, oh man, I'm so sad. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm okay. So.
We do have one last question for you, Greg, and we need you, again, something that who better than you to settle this debate that we've had on the show.
I'm ready.
And I need you to try and not be biased because we know how much you love Jaws. Cass and I have a debate on...
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. We have a debate on which is better. And this is just a general. We're not talking specifically effects or anything like that. And it's tough between Jaws and the original Jurassic Park.
Jaws.
Thank you.
Why?
It's a better movie. I think Jaws is a better movie. It's a better adventure story. It's three men against this unstoppable beast in this world where they're cut off from everything else. Look, I love Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park feels a little light to me. Like when there's nothing like Quint getting eaten in Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
Jurassic Park is a little more kid-friendly than Jaws is. And look, I mean, if Steven had made, and this is not a criticism of Jurassic Park, the one thing I love about Jurassic Park is you get the sense that it really takes place in one day. Like they get to the island, the scene where the T-Rex attacks, and then they're at night, and Muldoon comes to pick up Jeff Goldblum's character, and the T-Rex is chasing them through the woods, and they go up into the trees of the brachiosaurs, all that. There's something about that middle section of the movie that feels really unique to me. Like there's this, maybe just because it's at night and there's a sense of dread, but it's less scary to me and it's less impactful. And I know in the original Jurassic Park, there was a lot of stuff. There was much more of it was set at night. Even I think in the beginning of Jurassic Park, isn't the little girl on the beach that gets attacked by the compies in the book? And then I think they used part of that in Jurassic Park 2. Look, there's a world where you take Jurassic Park 1, 2, 3, and you cut them all together into one magnificent movie by taking scenes from different parts of it. But I still love it. I still watch it all the time. The effects are amazing. The raptor scene in the kitchen is great. And the T-Rex, I saw that movie at a screening in Hollywood at City Walk. There was like 6 theaters playing it. It was cast crew screening, and Ray Harryhausen was in the theater that I saw the movie in. And I just remember overhearing when the movie was over and we walked down the lobby, and he was like, well, that's that. Like, it was kind of almost like, well, stop motion will never happen again. But he was, but he was really thrilled at the technology. He was blown away by it. That was cool. I mean, I'm like, fuck, there's Ray Harryhausen. This movie's being made because of Ray Harryhausen,
Yeah.
Throughout this debate, I feel like I've made a very strong claim from my side. Not gonna lie, you siding with Cass really hurts my argument bad.
Well,
hey, great minds think alike.
I gotta be on the winning team here, Mike. Sorry.
It's a tough pick. I mean, by no means,
Thanks,
like it's really, really close. But yeah, no, I appreciate your thoughts on that. That went how I figured it would go, though.
All right.
But Greg, we appreciate your time so much, man,
Yeah,
and
of course.
hopping on, and your insight is always so valuable, and we appreciate
Thank
it
you.
so much. Do you want to let people know where to get in touch with you? If you want them to leave you alone, tell them that too.
No, I mean, I'm on Instagram. I try to check my messages. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not, I mean, like Instagram is at G Nicotero. And yeah, that's me. That's where I am. That's where I is.
And Guts and Glory, everyone
Guts and
needs to
Glory,
go.
October 14th.
Yes,
We got a, Daryl Dixon is playing currently on AMC Plus and Shudder. Fallout Season 2, which we did the effects for. It premieres in December. And I'm trying to think of what else we did this year. Talamasca, which is the Anne Rice universe, premieres soon as well on AMC.
so much going on.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
lots of fun stuff.
And before we run,
Yes.
I have to acknowledge one thing that I see in the background. Your very impressive Hatbox Ghost. Love him. Yeah,
I have a
incredible.
full-size one in the other room that I made.
Oh, that's incredible.
And then this,
Huge fan.
so
Uh-huh.
Bruce Cruisin'. So when we did The Mist, the opening scene in The Mist, when Tom Jane's in the attic and he's painting, and the storm happens and the tree smashes through. Drew Struzan gave us copies of the paintings, and we had that one, and the Dark Tower one. And I think he gave us 3 of each, and we only did 2 takes. And so that one was framed and just sitting there. And I said, Drew, do you think I can have that? He's like, yeah, sure, take it. So I took it off the set of The Mist and brought it home, and it hangs on my wall.
That's awesome.
So there you go.
Yeah, that you have quite the museum just in that room alone of just horror stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is nothing. This is nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind moving into your garage with all that cool stuff you were talking about.
Well, one day we'll do it. One day we'll do a tour of the museum. How's that?
That's amazing.
That'd be cool.
Okay.
That's amazing. But Greg, thank you so much for your time, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. We appreciate you so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
There you have it, Greg Nicotero Cast. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Yes. I'm
Are you
good.
sure?
That was incredible. Absolute honor to be able to speak to that man. I look up to him and his career in so many ways, personally for myself being, so that was really fucking cool to talk to him.
Yeah. Back when we first had Greg on in 2019, after we were done talking to him, my co-host at the time, dude, we went on about his aura. And dude, it's still like, there is just something about that dude. His aura just radiates like the history of the horror genre. And you can feel it just by talking to him. And I hope everybody listening to it felt that too. Anytime we get to talk to, like, we cherish it. And it's honestly not even for who he is. It's more so the person he is, if that makes sense. You know, like just his stories, how passionate he is about these things and the horror genre and the effects and doing his part, like he talked about with UCast, to pass that what he got and the passion he got from guys like George Romero and Tom Savini and everybody else. He is making it a point to do his part to pass that down to new horror fans and new people who are interested in doing makeup effects and all that. And you just don't see that often.
No, you can feel the fan in him, which makes it it makes it relatable. You know, when he's talking about all these things and the passion that he has for these projects that he works on, he's speaking to it not only from as a professional standpoint, but as a fan, and that radiates with all of us being fans of the realm of film and cinema.
Yeah. So absolute honor. Everybody needs to go watch Guts and Glory, dude. I'm not kidding.
So excited!
I cannot wait. That will be. I think it's not on a Friday. I wish the episodes were on a Friday, because that'd be a perfect movie night thing for Discord. but I'm watching this every week. Like, I cannot
You
wait.
said it's the 14th, right? October 14th?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday night, yeah. I still
Okay.
think we should host some sort of watch party in the Discord, because I think that from what Greg was explaining about this show, it's going to not only, hit with a lot of horror fans, but hit with fans that love, challenge type TV shows. And I think I'm very excited for it. I was excited for it before, but then when he really got in depth with it and started giving us, a bit more of an insight to what we can expect, I just got that much more fucking excited for it. So I definitely think that we should do some sort of watch party or thing, but encourage everyone to go watch it, 'cause it sounds fun sick.
Oh yeah. So that leads into follow us on all of our shit. At Slasher Radio on Twitter, YouTube, Discord. You can join. The links are in the YouTube descriptions and on Twitter, and our link tree. We have a link tree too. You can find it there. TikTok and wherever else. Patreon.com/Slasher Radio. Tiers starting as low as $3 a month. There is a 1-week free trial that you can take advantage of. Check it out. See if it's for you. Hopefully you stick around. We have a dope community. Like, just a lot of cool, funny people that love horror movies, and love to have fun and love to fuck around, man. Like that's what more could you ask for? What am I? Oh yeah. Also, Rob had something he had to take care of, so that is why he is missing throughout the rest of this episode. He might have got stuck on the toilet, Cass.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
Got kicked out of work and then just stuck,
Yeah. I think he is like stuck on the bowl, and that is what I think Rob is doing. But you can follow me at Mikey's Dead on Twitter if you would like. Make sure, if you're listening to this on YouTube or TikTok or wherever, make sure you like the video and maybe throw a comment in there. It helps us out a lot. We do have a lot of stuff lined up. Next week, we will have Tyler Main, Rob Zombie, from, I keep saying that, Michael Myers from the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. That was an awesome discussion, too. So much shit in there that I didn't even know that Tyler did, even after researching the guy, wrestling and all kinds of stuff. That'll be next week's episode. After that, then the following week, we'll be joined by Damien Maffei. We already pre-recorded that with Damien, too. That is I
love him.
all of these are things that you need to listen to, because they're huge people in the horror genre, and they've done really cool shit. But Damien went off, and it was a great episode and super interesting, a long conversation, and a true insight of not only the awesome movies he's been a part of, Strangers Pray at Night, Haunt, and all kinds of things, but also a great look at the industry, like the film industry. A lot of upcoming stuff that he has coming up as well. Can't wait to get into all that. And the following week after that, we are scheduled currently to be having our Patreon episode, where our patrons get to pick a movie once a week, every month. But we do have a couple of things up in the air, so hard subject to change there. We'll see, but that's what it's slated for right now. And on the week of Halloween, the day before Halloween, on October 30th, we'll be joined by Tim Willits from Saber Interactive to get the first words on the Hellraiser revival game. That's a big deal.
Yeah, so excited for that one.
Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to hear it, because we've already pre-recorded a good amount of this stuff, and it's truly fucking awesome. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. You can follow Rob at Radio Rob123 on Twitter. Also, he did an appearance talking about The Town That Dreaded Sundown on Sean's Horror Corner on YouTube, and I watched a little bit of that today. I didn't get through the whole thing. It was Rob was all right. He was all right, but Sean was really good, and it was a great discussion on the movie. He has a bunch of deep dives into stuff like Black Christmas and The Hills Have Eyes and X and all kinds of things. Even The Walking Dead, I'm looking through right now. Season 1.
Yeah.
So at Sean's Horror Corner on YouTube. And he also has the Nick fucking Woo Cage Cast. That's Nick effing Woo, because iTunes and Spotify and stuff don't let you have fuck in the title. I don't know why. But make sure to give that a follow. I don't know what they'll be doing this week, so you'll have to listen to find out. And
Surprise.
I think that's it. Cass, what about you?
Yeah. I have X on all platforms.
Hell of a deal. All right, guys, we'll be back next week with Tyler Main, Michael Myers himself. Good night from Slasher Radio.
All the best of Slasher Radio podcast.